I challenge our parents to become their children's first teachers. Turn off the TV.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Rush Limbaugh.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much, folks. Thank you a whole lot. Well, it's getting exciting in the Republican. A turn for the better, despite what the pundits are saying. New York Times had a headline today, said party in turmoil, and I don't believe that's the case at all. In Arizona, Steve Forbes took all the delegates out there. He thought it 39 delegates in Arizona, winner take all. He got them, and he predicted that he would come in first in Arizona a long time ago. Now, I want to talk a little bit about this race in Arizona because Dole finished in third place. Buchanan finished, or no, Dole finished second. That's right. He did come back later in the night. Finished in second place, and Buchanan finished down in third place. Lamar Alexander, a distant fourth place for Lamar Alexander. After the results were in from Arizona, Lamar did not suggest that the top three finishers quit, as he did coming out of New Hampshire. Now, I want to show you some clips from Forbes, and then show you some things that people are saying about Forbes again. Here is Steve Forbes talking about his comeback in Arizona.
A week ago, they wrote our obituary. Now tonight, we can perhaps write the obituary for conventional political punditry in America.
Wow, that's a robust response there. Now, the point of this is, folks, that everybody had him written off, and he, went out there. He spent $4 million to get his message across. More on that in just a moment. Now, this next clip I want to show you because it illustrates the way Forbes is approaching things. Forbes has said that he doesn't want to pander to a specific group of voters. And he doesn't mention any names, by the way. He's not going negative. He's staying focused on his message. And he really does look out over the American landscape and see every American citizen as a possible voter. He's trying to get everybody to understand that his vision for America includes them. And here's a sample of that approach.
There are three basic directions, my friends, that our great country can take. One is the direction that we face today, a direction of incoherence, a direction of drift, a direction of having no sense of direction at all, where the president has to wake up each morning, look at the polls to see what he's supposed to believe that day. That's one direction. Another direction says that America's best days are behind it, that we can't compete anymore in the world, that we have to hide behind walls, sort of a hunker in the bunker mentality. That's another direction. And our direction, the direction that we believe in, is a profound belief that despite the frustrations of the people today, despite the fears and anxieties that are in our land today, we can turn these problems into opportunities and once again make America that shining city on the hill.
And there you have it. By the way, did you hear that cellular phone ring? That was Bob Dole phoning in saying Bob Dole believes in all that. No, in all candor here, folks, he paints the three visions that are out there, and he didn't mention any names, but I did. He mentioned Clinton, and then he mentioned Buchanan, the hunker and the bunker, the fear, and we can't compete in the world anymore, and then his. And this is the high road, and this is the optimistic vision. And I have to remind you again, I watched the New Hampshire debate, and I spent more time laughing at the New Hampshire debate. Had I been alone, I would have probably cried. I was with some friends, and it was like watching Saturday Night Live, I thought. And when I finished watching it, I felt, what country are these guys looking at? It was the biggest presentation of doom and gloom. It was like everybody's poor and destitute and without any hope whatsoever. And I looked at the audience that was there watching the debate. And they all had clothes. They all had nice warm coats. They all looked clean shaven. They all looked like they had on underarm antiperspirant. Looked like they all had shoes. Looked they all had the comforts of life. They're going to go home to a warm house, maybe have some food. I mean, nobody was suffering in this crowd, and yet here the candidates were approaching that way. It's not republicanism. It certainly isn't conservatism to try to play on people's fears. That's what liberals do. Liberals fearmonger. Liberals scaremonger. Liberals get people all worked up into fear so that people will then vote for the liberal to save the day. Come take care of us. Come up with a program. And Forbes is doing just the opposite. He's telling people, and if he would do more of this, I think it'll stand him in even better position. Hey, look, you have more control over your life than you even know. The country's great because of what you do, not because what I'm going to do as president or what any other congressman or senator is going to do. Now, the subject of Forbes money. It's rubbing a lot of Republicans the wrong way, among them Senator Dole. Here's what he had to say about it.
No, well, I can't spend $4 million in Arizona. You ought to report what's happening. This guy's trying to buy the election. And so far he hasn't had much success.
Buy the election, $4 million. They asked Forbes about this, and he said, hey, look, I just did what it took to get my message across. I don't have free media. They're not covering me the way they cover everybody else. And, I'll tell you what this is a result of Common Cause deciding to make elections fair when they impose this $1,000 contribution limit per person, unless you're using your own money. Then you can spend as much as you want. Forbes has a lot and is deciding to spend it. And you got to keep this in mind, too. Forbes has been spending the same amount of money in places he's finished fourth. So it's not the money that's getting him these notices. You got to figure that it is the idea that is prevailing. At least it prevailed in Arizona, and I think that's probably the truth to the answer to this because he's changed his message. He's not slicing and dicing. He's not going negative. He spent $4 million getting his message out there, and it was a message that apparently the voters in Arizona liked. Now, when you talk about buying votes or buying the election, when Bob Dole or anybody else says that he's out there spending $4 million to buy the election, what he means is that you can take $4 million, put together some fancy ads, and fool people. That people don't have their own minds. That people can be easily manipulated. Well, that's not what's happening because remember, Forbes is losing elections too, spending the same amount of money. I'm reminded, and you'll remember this too, some of you. Remember the old famous Alka-Seltzer ad campaign? I can't believe I hate the whole thing. Remember that one? It was a great campaign, won all sorts of awards, but it didn't sell Alka-Seltzer. So they had to pull the campaign. There's a recent advertising campaign that was on during the latter part of the football season into the Super Bowl, and it featured a penguin that was trying to walk up a snow-covered hill, and it kept slipping and falling back, so it got in a car that could get up a hill better than the penguin itself could. It drove the car up. The penguin was a created little image from a computer. Everybody loved that little penguin so much they never noticed the car, which was the product was a BMW. And that campaign is gone the way. It was a brilliant campaign, but I don't know how well it sold the product. Same thing here. To insult voters by saying they can be bought is just simply what Republicans have not been known for. And this is, I think, something that needs to be brought to screeching halt. Now, this next is tough for me because John McCain, senator from Arizona, is a genuine American hero. No fudging about that, no argument about it. And I've met John McCain. I've spoken to him on the phone. He's a regular listener to the radio program, he and his wife, and they're just great people. But he said something on CNN last night that I think is very troubling. I wish he hadn't said it because, once again, it sounds too much like the same kind of rhetoric we get from liberal Democrats. He said this: the Republican Party is not going to nominate somebody whose three greatest challenges were going to prep school, going to college, and taking over his father's business. Now, once again, this is an assault on Forbes' person, on his character, on his personality, or whatever his shortcomings are because of these three characteristics. There's not one mention there of Steve Forbes' ideas. And it's too similar to the kind of things the Democrats and the liberals throw out. Now, one more thing that I want to show you before we have to go to the break. I have been saying for the past month that the reason this Republican primary campaign appears so negative is these guys are focusing on the wrong target. There's only one target, Bill Clinton. And I said whoever in this campaign starts to talk about Bill Clinton as the enemy, as the target, as the guy who's got to be beaten, is the guy who's going to rise above everybody else in the fray. Interestingly enough, Forbes did that in the Arizona debate last Thursday night. Got the biggest applause of the whole night, except when Dornan mentioned my name. He got the biggest applause of the whole night when he attacked Clinton. Now, in Marietta, Georgia, Cobb County on Tuesday night, Buchanan decided in one of his rallies, 3,500 people, a lot of energy there. They reacted positively to everything. But when he went after Clinton, the place erupted, and I want you to watch this.
Here's Clinton. Here's a guy trying to grab the entire healthcare system with the help of Hillary. And he's up there in the State of the Union. The era of big government is over. 1996, Clinton's running against a guy who was president in 1994. A year later, we're going to do something about illegal immigration, Clinton says. Clinton said, this guy's shameless. We got to get prayer back in the public schools. Let me tell you, you all wait. You wait. About 2-3 weeks, Clinton will come sauntering into one of those National Rifle Association meetings. He'll be dressed up in those combat camouflage outfit and the fatigue hats. You know, holding up an AK-47, saying, don't try to take my firearms away from me.
You see that? Look at everybody in here. Listen to this. See? What did I tell you? Everybody, this audience started erupting, the audience down there in Georgia starting to erupt. That's what everybody in this race ought to be doing. There's so much material if you just go after the guy, and it's the real focus of all this. It's Bill Clinton. It's not Forbes or all these other Republicans, and we'll be back with more right after this.
Now there's a hearing aid for Miracle Ear, so advanced, it's virtually invisible. Now you see it? Now you don't. It's the Mirage hearing aid for Miracle Ear. Call now. We'll send you these free booklets that tell you how the virtually invisible Mirage may help you hear better. If you call 1-800-852-9100. Right now, we'll also send you this free videotape, Hearing Loss and You. It'll show you the most common causes and solutions for hearing loss. And we'll include the free booklets about the Mirage, hearing aid for Miracle Ear. You see, Mirage is our most advanced hearing aid that fits completely into the ear canal. It's not only small, it's virtually invisible. Call Miracle Ear at 1-800-852-9100. We'll send you important new information about hearing loss and the virtually invisible Mirage.
It's amazing. I know he's wearing it, but I can't see it.
So call Miracle Ear at 1-800-852-9100. Call now.
UPN 20 brings the Washington area the first no-wait weather line. Time, temperature, and the UPN 20 News at 10 no-wait weather forecast are all at your fingertips. Just dial 301-652-0020.
Today in the nation's capital, partly sunny skies, a high only in the lower 30s. Cold morning.
Time, temperature, and the weather you can count on 24 hours a day. Call 301-652-0020 right now. When you call, please remember to dial carefully. Sponsored by your local Toyota dealers.
I started my cleaning business with 5 houses, and now I have close to 200. No one does a better job than I do. The hardest room in the house to clean is the bathroom. I'm an absolute terror in a bathroom. I hate soap scum. It's like a layer. I mean, you get the hard water stains, and you get the soap scum, and you've got to get through one to get to the other. And that's what Comet Bathroom Cleaner does.
Comet Bathroom Cleaner is the best when it comes to cleaning soap scum. And nothing's better at getting rid of tough, hard water stains.
Comet does a great job. Makes my job a whole lot easier.
When others can't cut it, Comet can.
Who talks to psychics?
I do.
I do, definitely.
Oh yeah, I call.
Why are so many choosing Psychic Readers Network?
The accuracy of their readings.
Their psychics really are the best.
The free sample reading is a great deal.
So why don't you call the Psychic Readers Network? Find out for yourself with a free sample reading.
Get your free sample psychic reading. Don't miss this opportunity. Call now.
Call 1-800-830-2374.
Hi, welcome back. Rush Limbaugh here, your bridge over troubled waters, or your punching bag, depending on your point of view lately. I have been hit. You can't believe how I'm getting hit. If you listen to my radio show, I got all sorts of people calling every campaign. How come you don't support Forbes? How come you're not supporting Buchanan? How come you're not supporting Alexander? If you just be supporting Dole, it would all be over. I'm a person of ideas, folks, not candidates. And I'm more interested in some ideas triumphing here than I am any particular candidate, because not one candidate encompasses all of my ideas here. So I'm trying to force my ideas on all of them, hoping to get an amalgamation here before the whole thing's over. Now, one of the things that's been troubling me since the New Hampshire primary began has been Buchanan, frankly, has been sounding more like Bonnier and Gephardt with some of his trade and foreign and economic policies. And we do not need to be sounding like Bonnier and Gephardt. We sound like Bonnier and Gephardt when we criticize Forbes and disqualify his ideas because he's wealthy. And when it comes to this idea of trade and the bunker mentality, we sound just like Bonnier and Gephardt going after big labor. Now, people have gotten mad at me. I don't think it's right for you to say that Pat sounds like Bonnier and Gephardt. Well, Gephardt thinks that Pat sounds just like a liberal Democrat, and Gephardt gave a speech yesterday, and he is thrilled that Buchanan is saying what he's saying because he thinks that Buchanan is bringing an issue back home to the Democratic Party. Here's a clip from Gephardt's speech. You watch this.
America does not deserve the policies of Pat Buchanan. Even the Republican Party doesn't deserve it. But candidate Buchanan is really forged of our own failures. For he has at least recognized the crisis of falling wages and income. He's at least acknowledged what hardworking families go through to raise their families and to put food on the table.
You understand what's happening here, folks? You got Bill Clinton stealing every conservative idea he can because his polling people tell him that's what he's got to do to get elected. So guys like Gephardt and Bonnier are sitting there going, oh, our ideas, nobody cares about them anymore, because they don't have any ideas. Their ideas are dead, flat, and over with. Buchanan has come along with this isolationist trade policy, and the Democrats like Gephardt and Bonnier are going, oh, finally, we're giving them their heartbeat back. He's happy about this. Here's another clip. This is what Gephardt wants to do about CEOs who profit from downsizing their companies. Watch.
We should stop giving huge tax subsidies to companies that send jobs and factories overseas and start recognizing that just as we treat churches and other nonprofits differently through our tax code because of the good things they do, we can use the tax code to reward corporations that are doing the right things. That means eliminating what may be the greatest perversity in our tax code, that we actually give tax breaks to corporations when their CEOs and executives personally profit from layoffs. I can't think of a worse signal to send to the hardworking Americans whose jobs are being lost.
So here's Dick Gephardt thinking he's got an opening now to go in there and make a call for the U.S. government, led by him, to get involved in the day-to-day activities of American businesses, using the tax code to do it. And what if you take a CEO whose pay is tied to performance, and if performance is defined by an elevated stock price or an earnings statement going up, and if that is brought about by some efficiency, brought about by getting rid of some employees, they don't want to let the guy be able to profit from it. They want to get that deep into the corporation, and they're thanking Buchanan for this. My friends, this is standard class warfare. This is exactly what the Democrats have always been made of, going after business leaders, going after CEOs, demonizing them, making devils out of them for the sake of getting votes and support from the little guy, when in fact the policies that these people utilize in tax and social architecture end up doing more damage to the lives of the middle class than anything they do to punish big business. And this whole class warfare stuff was gone, and it was on its way to being buried, and we've now revived it for them. I hope it doesn't survive, but they think that they've got their opening. Now, Gephardt is smart enough to realize that he's got to distance himself here from Buchanan. He's got to say, we're better at this than Buchanan is. We don't really want Buchanan stealing our ideas here. So this is how he chose to defend himself, or actually distance himself from the Buchanan message.
And how can someone who opposes the minimum wage, opposes health and safety standards, and opposes family leave even pretend to stand for the American worker?
Now the question is, how can you? How can you pretend to stand for the American worker, Congressman Gephardt, when all you've done is participate in increasing taxes, increasing regulation, and reducing the amount of freedom individuals have to conduct their lives? And that's what we must never forget. We don't want to do anything, conservatives don't, that strengthen or enrich or give these guys any more confidence. These guys are on the way out. People are leaving this party in droves, and we're making a huge mistake by taking up their message, by attacking wealth, attacking achievement, attacking people in this country who are of entrepreneurial behaviors and spirits. So Because I told you it was going to come. I predicted it, and here it is. And so when you hear me say that our candidates sound too much like Bonnier and Gephardt, you've got to realize I've been right about it. Just showed you the proof. We'll be back with more in just a moment.
Yes, it's coming to me. Just a moment. Hello, happy psychic helpers. Oh, yeah, I see a lot in your future, lady.
Have you called those other psychic lines only to be left with an empty feeling? Well, you deserve better. Call the Psychic Readers Network and speak to a psychic who really cares. We believe our psychics are the best, and to prove it, we want you to try us for free. That's right. Call now and you'll get a free sample reading with one of our gifted psychics.
When I heard about the free reading, I just had to call.
My psychic clued right into me. It was the best reading I ever had.
It was remarkably accurate and very helpful.
For answers to your questions about love, money, and your future, speak to a true psychic. Call now for your free sample reading.
To get a free reading, why wouldn't you call?
My psychic was very good. She led me right into promotion at work that I didn't even know about.
Hello, this is the Leo. Oh, the Aquarian. Oh, yeah, I knew that. Hang on.
Why call one of those other psychics when you can try us for free? Call now for your free reading.
Call 1-800-840-8283.
Why do you talk to PRN psychics?
Romance. My future.
My career.
The free sample reading.
Would you recommend PRN?
Yes, absolutely.
What does Psychic Readers Network have that others don't?
Psychics who are friendly, who care.
You get to try it out with a free sample reading.
What's the best part of the PRN deal?
The free sample reading, of course.
The free sample reading, no question.
Try it out. Call now.
1-800-799-2615.
If you're like me, then you love to meet people and have fun over the phone. And thanks to the Super Network, you're only one phone number away from all your favorite phone adventures.
When you call the Super Network, you can find romance on the date line, talk with dozens of people over the party line, set your imagination free over the fantasy line. The sooner you call, the sooner you'll discover the extra bonus lines that make our network so popular.
Call the Super Network now and satisfy all your entertainment cravings.
Kenneth and Gloria Copeland welcome special guest Creflo A. Dollar to the Believer's Voice of Victory.
God has an anointing that will restore you back to where He has called you to be, and you'll get back to that place and go on even farther.
Don't miss Kenneth Copeland with special guest Creflo A. Dollar right here on the Believer's Voice of Victory.
I want to show you something next from the State of the Union show from the President's most recent speech. Here it is.
I challenge all our schools to teach character education, to teach good values and good citizenship. And if it means that teenagers will stop killing each other over designer jackets, then our public schools should be able to require their students to wear school uniforms.
Oh, so here we go. We're back in the school uniform business, and note why. Note why here. Stop violence. Now, I saw a thing in USA Today the other day, on Tuesday. 70% of principals say uniforms would cut violence. Now, on the surface, people probably think it's a good idea. But and for other reasons, I would agree with it, but not for the stopping violence reason, because I think it misses the whole point. The idea here is to get everybody dressed the same so that nobody has anything nicer than anybody else, so that somebody doesn't have a $250 pair of sneakers that might get killed because they have them. The liberal approach here is typical. You don't go after the people killing people, you stop tempting them. You don't make them mad. You know, don't give them anything to kill for. Don't give them anything to steal, and maybe they'll become nice people. It's sort of like this idiotic approach we've got in Cuba. I mean, we have 4 Americans shot out of the sky. 4 Americans shot out of the sky. And what's the solution? Stop the flights. Don't go get the people who shot the Americans. We'll send troops all over the world to Haiti and get them shot at over there when they're not being shot at until they get there. We'll send them to Bosnia. And yet we get 4 Americans shot, and all we do is say, we're going to stop charter flights. We're going to really hammer you. No more charter flights to your little outhouse of a country. It misses the whole point, folks. Plus, this business of uniformity, on one hand, I like it and understand it in the purposes of schools, but it doesn't stop there. They want everybody to end up with the same education, the same grades, the same this and same that. And it's very risky, this business. It's typical liberalism. The way you stop violence, you stay out of the park at midnight. You board up your own windows in your home. You don't go walking after 7 o'clock. Why? Because the people that'll harm you are still out there, and we don't want to make them mad. It's silly. We'll take a break and be back after this. Don't go away.
You have a house. I see children, maybe boy, maybe girl, lots of family, lots of friends. But wait, I don't see any life insurance. Are you out of your mind? Why don't you have any personal life insurance?
We feel we can't afford it.
You can afford it. Simply call 1-800-495-LIFE to find out how much protection $15, $20, or $25 a month will buy for your family. From AmeriCare Tailored Term.
I'm glad you called, because for $20 a month...
If you're not protected, why? When for just a few dollars a month, you can have the security of AmeriCare Tailored Term. Call now. 1-800-495-LIFE. 1-800-495-LIFE for your free telephone quote.
Now I see entire family protected. I see smart decisions. I see AmeriCare Tailored Term.
It's a blockbuster march on UPN, and it all starts with the Blockbuster Entertainment Awards. Then get ready for 3 big blockbuster premieres: The Paranormal Borderline, Swift Justice, and The Sentinel. Plus, Blockbuster March brings you a special Star Trek Voyager, the blockbuster made for UPN movie Star Command, and all new episodes of Moesha starring Brandy, Minor Adjustments, and Nowhere Man.
Premiering in March on UPN 20.
Remember Carol Shire, ex-New York City police officer? Now's your chance to call Carol and talk to all her friends.
Call me, and let me tell you about the latest flyer I put out.
Everybody needs to work out, so call me now, and I'll get you started.
Have you had your yearly checkup yet? Call me and make an appointment now.
Call now and get the lowdown from those who know, and find out about what's really happening, both on the job and off.
Don't wait. Call now and ask about whatever's on your minds. Until then, stick 'em up.
To talk to Carol's girls, call 1-900-680-0700. $3.99 per minute. Must be 18.
Death Wish 2. Thursday at 8 on UPN 20.
The scales of justice are about to tilt because Max Swift is coming down on crime with a vengeance. Swift Justice.
Premiering March 13th at 9 on UPN 20.
One final thing before we have to go. A lot of people think that the Republican Party is self-destructing, and I rather think that's not correct. I think it's just the opposite. I think the only place in America where the exchange of ideas about moving forward is the conservative movement inside the Republican Party. The liberals are left and dying, and all they can do is sit around and hope that some of the things that have failed come back to prominence. So don't be too negative about this. This is all going to end up in a positive way. Plus, the opponent is Clinton. That's not too difficult. We'll be back next time. See you then, folks. So long.
Services provided and promotional fees paid by the following.
Quit chewing tobacco with Mint Snuff All Mint Chew. Mint Snuff is made from mint, not tobacco. For a store near you, call 1-800-EAT-MINT. Now available at Sam's Clubs.
Whether it's fair or not, every day people judge you by the words you use.
Verbal Advantage vocabulary tapes. Learn more. Call now. 1-800-549-WORD.
Melatonex, the only time-release melatonin tablet. Melatonex for sound, natural sleep. All night, every night. Make sure it ends with an X. Melatonex. When Robin Leach says garlic, he's not speaking French. He's talking about the most potent garlic tablet there is. Garlic brand garlic. 1 per day and odor-free. Garlic.